Quan Alexander and Brian Branch are fined after Bills game. Before we continue with this news, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Yes, that like will greatly strengthen our work in always bringing the latest news here on the channel. Let's support this Detroit Lions news channel. Subscribe here because that way you will always be informed with the main news, and you will also help our channel reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers in 2024. I really count on your subscription here. Be a true Lions fan. Now, without further ado, let's get started, because today's update is surprising, so stay until the end so you don't miss anything. In the NFL scenario, where each game is intense, two Detroit Lions players drew attention not only for their performances on the field, but also for the judgments that resulted in heavy fines after the match against the Buffalo Bills. Linebacker Quan Alexander and fullback Brian Branch were the main characters in this episode, and the situation generated discussions both on the field forums. Quan Alexander, a veteran with a decade of experience in the NFL, was fined $6,722 for an infraction committed in the second quarter of the game. The controversial play occurred when Alexander hit Bills quarterback Josh Allen just after he got rid of the ball. The impact was considered late by the judges, resulting in financial resilience. Brian Branch, known for his energy and intensity on the field, was fined $10,128 for taunting, an infraction that, although less physical, is equally penalized by the league, which seeks to prevent behaviors that could inflame tempers during the game. The signing of Quan Alexander by the Detroit Lions was strategic, considering the wave of injuries that affected the team's linebacker room. He joined the team shortly after a serious injury to Malcolm Rodriguez, who suffered a ruptured anterior cruciate ligament. The acquisition was seen as an attempt by the Lions to remain competitive amid growing challenges on the roster. Alexander is not just a veteran. Having played for 7 teams throughout his career, he brings with him a wealth of experience and a work ethic that has impressed both his teammates and the coaching staff. Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, who previously worked with Alexander during his time with the New Orleans Saints, had nothing but praise for the player. Glenn highlighted Alexander's dedication and leadership, essential attributes for a linebacker. He's a violent player, plays fast, and has instincts that are on another level. His understanding of the game is impressive, said Glenn, reinforcing the importance of having an athlete with these characteristics on the roster. Alexander's presence on the Lions roster also reflects a relationship of trust between the player and the coaching staff. Glenn emphasized how helpful it is to work again with someone who understands the philosophy and dynamics of the team. For Alexander, returning to play under Glenn's command seems like an ideal scenario, indicating that the partnership between the two could bear fruit for the rest of the season. On the other hand, Brian Branch, who is still early in his NFL career, saw his fine as a reminder of the necessary balance between intensity and emotional control on the field. The provocation that led to the betrayal could be interpreted as a reflection of his passion for the game, but it could also serve as a lesson for the young athlete as he seeks to establish himself as an important part of the Lions' defense. This episode highlights the complexity of being an NFL player. While intensity and passion are celebrated, there is a fine line that cannot be crossed. For the Lions, the lesson is that while deliberations are part of the game, they also represent an opportunity for growth and adjustment, both individually and collectively. With Alexander and Branch on the roster, the team continues its quest for positive results, balancing the aggression required with the discipline required by the league. The Detroit Lions have faced a real test of their endurance throughout the 2024 season. With a list of injuries that have shaken the team's defensive and offensive pillars, the team has had to adapt strategies week after week to keep its campaign alive. Among the losses are crucial names such as running back David Montgomery, defensive lineman Ala McNeil, and cornerbacks Carlton Davis and Khalil Dorsey. The situation became even more delicate after the 48-42 loss to the Buffalo Bills, in which 4 more players went out with injuries. Despite the challenges, the Lions secured a spot in the playoffs, and now it is crucial to strengthen the roster to compete at a high level in the postseason. Here are 4 players the franchise can consider to fill the gaps left by injuries and increase its chances of success. Edwards-Helaire, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs, recently became a free agent after being released and clearing waivers. Despite not playing a game this season due to personal issues related to post-traumatic stress disorder, the running back has already proven his worth in the NFL. As a rookie in 2020, the former LSU standout accumulated an impressive 803 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, as well as 36 receptions for 297 yards. In the years since, his production has declined, mainly due to the emergence of Isaiah Pacheco with the Chiefs. Still, signing Edwards-Helaire represents a low-risk gamble for the Lions. His experience and skill could provide a significant contribution to the team's backfield, complementing their current options for the postseason. DT Quinton Bohanna, who had a stint with the Lions last season, is another name that could help quickly. Currently, on the Seattle Seahawks practice squad, he could be signed to Detroit's active roster. His familiarity with defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn's scheme is an advantage that would make him a valuable asset on the defensive line. Last season, Bohanna played in 3 games for the Lions as a practice squad addition before joining the Tennessee Titans active roster. With experience at multiple interior defensive positions, he would be a versatile addition at a time when the Lions' defense needs immediate reinforcements. A 10-season veteran, Latavius Murray is an interesting option for the Lions' offense. Although he will not play in 2024, he had a solid showing last season for the Buffalo Bills, amassing 300 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in 16 games. Murray has a successful track record that includes 6,552 career rushing yards. His connection to head coach Dan Campbell from when they were both with the New Orleans Saints could make it easier for him to adapt to the Lions scheme. As a power back, he would be an ideal complement to the explosive style of Jahmyr Gibbs and Craig Reynolds, further strengthening the team's backfield. Patrick Peterson is a name that needs no introduction. With 3 first-team All-Pro selections and 8 Pro Bowl appearances, he has established himself as one of the NFL's best cornerbacks of his generation. Despite being in the twilight of his career at 34, Peterson played in all 17 games for the Steelers last season, demonstrating that he still has the energy to contribute at a high level. For the Lions, Peterson would be more than a temporary solution at cornerback. He would bring leadership and experience to a young group, helping rookies like Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw develop. Plus, his drive to pursue a first-ever Super Bowl title could align him perfectly with the team's ambitions. With a playoff berth already in the bag, the Lions have a unique opportunity to bolster their roster and remain competitive. Players like Edwards-Helaire, Bohanna, Murray, and Peterson all offer different types of contributions that could fill important gaps on the team. As the postseason approaches, making sure the right pieces are in place can make all the difference in the dream of leading Detroit to an unprecedented title. Share your opinion here in the comments. I really want to know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave that like to help us continue bringing quality content. We will hit the goal of 1,000 subscribers here on the channel. I'm counting on you for this. Until next time.